Okay. We are making all the little connections here. See if I can get it over here. It looks like we are live. We are now connected. All those little internet fingers have gone out and touched and hit the buttons they're supposed to. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome. Good morning. Today is, oh my God, December 16th. My goodness, December 16th. Do you realize that we're only, what does that make us? 9 days?
9 days. 9 days.
9 days from Christmas.
9 days.
My goodness. Well, today is December 16th, and welcome. You are at Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. I am Terry Ann, life coach TA. I help to develop the confidence to defeat those lies of negative self-talk and to replace them with the truth. My co-host is Sherry Berger.
Good morning. I'm Sherry Berger. I am the owner of Here to There Consulting. We educate business owners with the tools to balance life, business, and finances. Because my mission in life is for you to create the life and business that you deserve. So we help people with growth, leadership, and success. Welcome to Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. I'm so happy to see you this morning. Yes, we are 9 days before Christmas. Is that crazy?
That is hard to believe. Wow. But you know what I find out? I find that, especially the closer it gets to Christmas, this year is really weird, but I get so busy thinking about everybody else, getting the house just right, I love to bake cookies, doing all that I'm doing, and I'm busy, and I'm always thinking this for this person, this for that person. I forget about me. What do you do to maintain your self-care, especially during hectic times like the holidays or even throughout the year? What do you do, Sherry?
Well, this year I got myself in trouble. I'm literally coming back from, I don't know, I had to reschedule. And right now it's 9 days before Christmas, which makes it like 14 or 15 to the end of the year. And I'm a business coach in a consulting. So this is the fourth quarter. And it's my favorite time of the year. And everybody always thinks it's because it's Christmas. But no, business owners love to set goals and strategies and marketing. And I love that. Remember how you like cooking cookies? I love this time of the year. I get on fire. I think we set goals all the time, but I get so excited. So I was out taking care of everybody else and my family and shopping and whatever I had to do. And, you know, I'm Superwoman. Did you not know? I forgot to.
I knew that. I knew that about you.
Wait, I have my cape right here. I'm Superwoman, right? But no, I ended up with a stress-induced cold on Sunday. I kid you not. And I'm just now coming back from it. And Terry Ann, I'm drinking tea. I have not had coffee for 2 days. And I couldn't talk for 2 days. Now,
Sherry Berger with no coffee?
Does anybody know the Sherry Berger without coffee, which this is day 3. I'm still trying to drink my Mickey coffee. It's not working too well. So I'm on my tea, my Christmas tea. So my self-care has been drinking lots of tea the last 2 days, realizing that it's okay if I can't do everything. Did you hear that?
No way.
I had to tell people, no. I have my whole rebranding and website going, and my guy that's building my web want to talk to me. And I'm like, can't talk. He's like, yeah, well, I really need to talk to you. And I said, I get that. That's great. When I get my voice back, we can talk. He goes, you don't have your voice. I didn't know Sherry could go without a voice. If you hear me, I'm a little raspy today. I'm here though. And I knew I wanted to show up for this, right? Because this is a priority. Because you and I made a commitment. And we figure with 2020 being so, I guess you could call it bleak or so, that we need to get on here and encourage more people.
Yes.
And talk about topics that are hard.
Challenging is the word I'm using.
Yeah, challenging year. And talk about topics that are hard and goal setting. So I really, really wanted to be here. And I said, what if I have a cold? And I laughed because we're talking about self-care. Right? So even us that teach about goals and self-care and things like that can sometimes forget to put our air mask on before all of ours around us, right? And I think this year has been even more challenging with self-care because I think we require more. Did you hear me? More, not less self-care. Does that make sense? Because it's more stressful. What?
We're adding the stress of COVID and keeping ourselves safe on top of our ordinary stress. For many people, it means where there was at least a period of time where people were out of the house. Now everybody's in the house. That in itself can add a stress. You can't get away even for those few minutes sometimes because of the way things are right now. And I think that then you add that to it. So not only do you have you can't get away to do your self-care, how can you take care of your own self-care, that precious few moments? How do you grab that when you're in the house with other people? And it's just, there's no place to be alone.
But that's what we need to time block, right? And teach the people, like if you have younger kids, you need to teach them that. But you literally need to make sure you do self-care. You know what the big self-care that I'm missing right now is I talk to people all day long. I love people. My husband claims I collect them, but I'm not hanging out with my family and friends like I usually would. Right? So that has made it really, really hard on me sometimes. And I don't realize that because I'm like, oh, I talk to all these people. But there's a difference between talking to your business associates, your people, and your actual circle of friends. Do you know what I mean? Where you can put your hair down and you can just have some fun. And I think we need to be a little more creative in that. Like I had a friend tell me that she has a Zoom happy hour every Friday. Good news is you can drink whatever you want. If you want to drink tea, I don't know why I'm drinking tea because I don't have coffee, but it's not working for me. So don't worry, Terry Ann, you got me on my tea. But I'm saying, even if you drink tea, it doesn't matter. It's that get together time. That's right.
Yes.
And that accountability and that saying, you know what? I really need to have a cup of coffee with you, or let's sit down and have a cup of coffee, even if it's over Zoom. And remembering that. So I think in all of this chaos, especially if you're a business owner, right? We're so busy taking care of businesses. And I'm on the phone and Zoom all freaking day. I get zoomed out. I'll just be honest. All day long, right? But they're not with it's not that I don't love my clients, but it's not with my people, right?
There's a difference there. Now, I have noticed, I've got to point this out here. Wait, just a little sidetrack. You have one cup that works for coffee and a different cup that works for tea.
That isn't true. This you can put coffee or tea in here, and I got 3 of them.
Okay, I just wanted to make
one
sure.
Of them broke. My mom's best friend gave these to me years ago. Unfortunately, she passed on. Her husband's still around, and every time I use it, I think of my friend.
Okay, I just want.
And this one, just in case you want to know, at work, way back when I worked at Think Computer Science Corporation, we had what is it, Secret Santa, and he got me this, and I got a Minnie. I don't know why everybody always thinks Mickey has to come with Minnie, but they do. I have the coolest thing. One of my best friends bought me a little coffee. What is it called? Keeps your coffee warm.
A coffee warmer? Yes.
But in the pandemic, because you're home all the time and in your office all the time, and I use it all the time, it burned out. Oh, but it was a Minnie Mouse one. She didn't even give me Mickey. Really? One of my really, really dear friends. So you do know I gave her crap over that, right? If it wasn't one of your really good friends, you wouldn't. But yeah, so I haven't told her that I need a new one for Christmas, but I need to, right?
Okay, well, we'll make sure she gets to watch the replay of this.
Yeah, because if your friend buys you something and it breaks, I think you should just go ask that friend for again.
I like this. This anonymous Facebook user tells us, one thing I do for self-care is affirmations every morning.
Yeah, and that's important.
What a great way to start the day.
And it's so good to see you,
Affirmation.
but we can't see your name because you need to go on to, what is it? Tell them how it works.
If you would like, we are using a program called StreamYard. If you would like your name to display, please go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and you can there accept the terms there. And what that does is it allows Facebook then to show your name onto StreamYard. Just part of their safety security. Hey, we just don't want any information out there. So you're welcome to remain anonymous, but if you would like your name to appear on our display, go to StreamYard and you'll see the link up there at the very top of the screen. Okay, what are some other self-care tips? I am not one to do this.
Just put that out there for you. Is that the way that you do it? There you go.
Well, you can, yes. You can use those words, but I will tell you, Facebook holds it back. I did that yesterday. And
can you put in the comments on how they do it then?
So I could put it in the comments. So we will start working on that a little bit better. Now, one form of self-care that some people do, I don't do this. I don't find this relaxing. Do you like to soak in a hot tub for a period of time?
I do, but I love doing that if you read a book or something. I haven't done it for a long, long time. I probably actually should. I don't know. I have a problem with sometimes. I do well with self-care, but like if I go for a walk, I'm going to listen to my podcast too. If I take a bath, I'm going to read a book. And by the way, it's a business or a learning book. It's not a fun book at the same time. So I feel like sometimes because of time management, I feel like, multitasking. So did Reed put out there what they need to do? And so you're just
there's yes, and there is what I was showing. You'll also see it at the top of the screen.
So if you do that, then we can see your name and it'll be easier for us to interact with you. And that would be
okay. So there's the hot bubble bath. Some people like that. Something I enjoy, and for me is self-care. And unfortunately, and I don't know why I do it, I wait too long to do this. A massage. I find a massage to be very relaxing. It's an hour where I just there's no thinking. It's total silence, the dark room, and the massage, getting rid of many of the kinks and all. To me, that is my ultimate self-care. I reach that point and I say, okay, this is it. It's massage time.
See, and what I just did for self-care is got my nails done. See, because then you get a massage.
Oh, I love that.
And your feet and everything. And I did tell my husband, I don't remember, I might have went Friday and did that. So, and I knew I needed self-care, right? So I was like, that's what I'm going to go do. But I'll just be honest with you, I've never, ever done a massage.
Oh, now Grace is making a good, and there is a difference. There is a difference between self-care and self-absorbed.
Yeah, and I think us as women, especially me, I was a mom. Well, I'm still a mom with 4, right? And I'm all about making a difference in other people's life, and I love helping others. Sometimes when I do stop and do some self-care, I go, oh, I don't want to be selfish.
Yes.
But I'm not being selfish if you don't put your ear mask on, right? What you say, you should become the best you can and then give it away. So
right.
If you don't be the best version of yourself. I always love to tell the story. You do know I raised my oldest 5 years on my own with no child support, no family. So, I just did it on my own, put myself through college. And no, we cannot see you now, Pam, but I do know that's Pam. But anyway, so you need to do the accept on StreamYard. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I'm going a mile a minute, taking 15 credit hours, and I'm working 30 hours a week at the hospital. And my 2-year-old will not stay in timeout. He keeps coming out of his room. This is the one that's a pastor now. He's fine. He's going to be 32 next month. He did fine. But he's like 2, and I'm burned out. And so I couldn't keep him in his room because he kept coming out, and I'm a young mom. I remember I locked myself in the bedroom, and he kept banging on the door. And I said, no, mommy's in timeout. He goes, mommy can't be in timeout. Yes, honey, you won't stay in timeout, so I'm in timeout. At that point, I was doing self-care, right? And as long as the kid was banging on the door, I knew where the kid was. But sometimes putting yourself in timeout is okay. And it's not being self-absorbed. It's giving yourself a minute to breathe, because I couldn't go for a walk, couldn't go for a drive, and I couldn't run away. I'm the only thing the 2-year-old has. What the heck, right? So anyway, I will say that that's what we have to be careful, is that we do need to stop and think of, take care of ourselves so we can take care of others.
You use the term putting on your air mask first. And I think that's a good reminder. If you've been on the plane, it's okay. If the air mask come down, you put it on yourself before you put it on someone else. And when I first heard this, I thought, no way. That doesn't sound right, because then I'm not taking care of someone. And so it was that reminder of, if I don't take care of me, I can't take care of them. So take that few seconds, put my mask on first. It won't take long, but it will make me more effective in caring. And that's where I guess I really started to realize what it means to kind of look at the self-care, and that's not being selfish to do that first.
Well, and you cannot.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we can see you, Andrea. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
Mm.
So if I'm trying to fill this cup, you say that I have a coffee and a teacup, but I don't. If I'm trying to fill this cup with this cup, I cannot fill it.
Right.
Now, if I use my water cup, everybody always thinks there's something else in here, but this is my water. I drink 3 or 4 of these a day. That's all about self-care, though, right?
Sure. Water is another.
My water cup, I could keep filling this one, and maybe even my other cup. Anne's like, what are you with cups? I think this is a pretty funny cup, so I have it on my desk.
What are some things?
It's a long story.
What are some things that people who are watching? What are some things that you do when it gets, that you make sure that you're taking care of you? And we talked about, some people do hot baths. For me, I'd rather have the long hot shower than sit in a long hot bath. Same difference. Although the shower seems to run out of hot water a lot faster, I think. We talked about massages. Sometimes just a cup of hot coffee or hot tea. I always say the difference between having coffee and tea at a time like that. You grab a cup of coffee. You sip on your tea. So that's why I feel like tea just implies slow down. So sometimes just sitting down with a good book, or when the weather's nice, out on the deck.
What about a cappuccino? You can slow down and drink a cappuccino.
Not after you've had it. There's enough caffeine in there to keep us going.
So I think I like to go for long walks. Literally, it's my way away.
Oh, that's nice.
So usually every day I try to walk 2-3 miles a day, but when I'm going to go for a long one, it could be 5 miles, right? Mm-hmm. And then you can pray, you can meditate, you can breathe in nature, you can. Yeah. I remember we lived at 119th and Black Baub. And there was a couple times I ran away from home. I have 4 kids, a husband. Life could be stressful. And I learned when I ran away, right across the street was a Christian bookstore. And you could get a cup of coffee, not a cup of tea. A cup of coffee, and you could read a book. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I bought the book. Sometimes I didn't. But yeah, I would read a book over there. So if my husband couldn't find me, he knew where to find me. It would not be at the bar. It'd be at the Christian bookstore, drinking my coffee, not my tea, and reading a book. And that's pretty funny. But sometimes you got to find, right? Where is that? Where is that? And you could go to the library, but they don't have free coffee. But then the Christian bookstore started charging for coffee, which I don't even think that was much either. And I found it was quiet there. It was a good place to read. And if I'm reading a devotion or a Christian book, it's hard for me to become too me-centered, right? My self-care is a long walk every day, too. Also reading that pure enjoyment or fluff.
Yeah.
And like I said, a lot of my self-care is hanging out because I'm such an extrovert, hanging out with my best friends and my friends claim I have get-togethers over here once a month. It's every 5-6 weeks, Terry. That's not once a month. And I can't do it. Because we're in a pandemic. And there's been a couple of my friends, I'm like, we need to get together. So one of my friends even said, let's do a happy hour online.
I found a really neat thing online that we've had some friends do. I found a program online where we can play Family Feud online, or we can play Wheel of Fortune online. And as I go in there, I create all the questions. People come on. We have a team, and we played. That was so much fun. We could spend a couple of hours forgetting everything and enjoying each other, even though it wasn't in the same room. It's not quite the same, but it's still the break. There was still the laughter. We have to remember to get the laughter in there. Oh my gosh. Now, to me, this is not relaxing at all, but working out on the elliptical. But that is self-care. I agree that is self-care. Oh my gosh. Something I don't do.
Yeah, but
self-care for elliptical and prayer. I love it.
Terry Ann, you might not want to work out when you do it, but there's like endorphins and other things. The benefit afterwards, the stress relief afterwards, it's worth it. Mm-hmm. It's not the elliptical or, right now on YouTube, you can find almost any workout program. But yoga is a good thing to do, things like that. So what did Andrea say?
I like this. Andrea says, coffee at the shop is great and experiences shares. Yes, it's quiet. Can't talk on calls in the shop. Great way to get away from your phone. I like that. Now, when I go to a coffee shop, I take my laptop sometimes because I'm not getting anything done at home, in the home office. I have found that by going to the coffee shop with my laptop, the change of atmosphere, that energizes me, and I can get so much done in a shorter period of time by getting away from the home office than when I sat here for 3 days in it. The change of atmosphere makes such a difference. I used to have, I like having tea parties. I used to have tea parties with my grandson, even when he was less than 2 years old. We would, that was our break in time. We would stop occasionally. We had our special cups, and we did this for years. We would have our tea parties. This was our time to forget everything else we were doing, and we would sit down together and laugh and talk and share. Well, his was hot chocolate. It doesn't matter though. It's still a tea party. I'll tell you what. He's recently said, Grandma, I want you to meet my friend, my girlfriend. Grandma, I got a girlfriend. But he said, and you know what? She likes teas and having tea parties. The one thing that he remembers, if nothing else, he remembers those tea parties.
See, and you're talking about that, what I like to do for stress reliever, and I haven't done it for a while, is color. My kids used to always ask me to sit down and color. And as a mom of 4 and running my own business and everything, I'd be too busy. I got to clean the house. I got to run my business. I got to run you here. I got to make dinner. Right? But the kid would want me to sit down and color. So I finally would. And when I'd sit down and color, it was so relaxing. And one of my best friends and I, we used to get together and color. We haven't done it for a while. But I think, and I know they have adult coloring books now. Some of those are inappropriate. But anyway, but I'm just saying, I have a regular Mickey Mouse book. I know you're so
all right.
And I have Mickey Mouse coloring crayons that I don't really like to use because they're not as good as my Crayola. But yeah. And as a mom, you guys are going to laugh at me, but I always had my own crayons.
I did too.
Because they break them, right?
When my kids were growing up, we each had our own set of colors and they were all identical. And we had our own set of color books. You don't color in my color book, I won't color in yours.
That way they didn't break mine. Oh, I let them color in mine. We just had to ask before we do it. So sometimes they'd color one of my pages and I'd color mine. And so
something else I do, I like to knit and crochet. The rhythm of just playing with the yarn, going back and forth, to me, that is very relaxing. Now,
I'd rather get on the elliptical than do that. Thank you.
No, I have taught a lot of people to do so, and they're going like this, and they're working the yarn and everything. They go, "You said this was relaxing." Yes,
Yeah,
it is. After you learn it, it is. The learning process not so relaxing. But yes, I can sit there and knit and crochet.
So you could learn the elliptical. Once you learn to get on it, it's relaxing afterwards. You just have to learn
that's
get through that. You got to get through that 90-day free trial period.
Okay, you got to get past that. You got to get past that initial stage there, huh?
It's the 90-day free trial, isn't it?
Yes, but unfortunately, I've learned having the elliptical set up is not enough. You've got to actually get on it and use it. It's kind of like that membership.
I heard you could store clothes on it.
Oh, yes. They work great for that. Yes. I've learned they work great for that. Yes.
My daughters both tried to get into crocheting, into sewing. My mom used to make a joke. I couldn't really sew. Now I can sew a button or something basic, right? But no. Mom said, yeah, I passed down the gene of not sewing to you. Because she just never taught us. She would tell us sew our animals to practice and things. But anyway, both my girls one of them tried to get in sewing, the other one tried to get into crocheting. And you know what? Mom doesn't do this, so they don't do this. So I did tease that I passed down the trait with them. Maybe I could get my daughter that wanted to crochet to hang out with you. My Robin that every once in a while.
We just need to find out ways to hang out and work on it.
My Robin, because she's a college student who got sent home this year. She's my youngest. Sometimes she pops up in Zoom. People do sometimes see, because she claims she doesn't live here, but whatever. She went off to Emporia for a couple of weeks and now she's back. And it's no fun being the baby. So what are some things that you guys do for self-care? Mine's having a cup of coffee with friends, getting together with friends, right? Hanging out with friends, going for walks. I like to take a hot bath. I'm not as good about it as I used to be. Sunsets and sunrises have been a huge stopping. I think 2020 has taught me to stop more and smell the roses and see sunrises and sunsets and looking for blessings all around us.
You've been posting some beautiful sunrise or sunset pictures.
And I've been doing that because to remind you, right, that God's here in it all, that there's so much to be thankful for, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, but I have a problem, which maybe a lot of people do, is you guys probably don't see I have lots of energy. No. A mile a minute, right? And I raised 4 kids and I've been a mom my whole adult life and I'm all about helping others. And sometimes I forget to stop, breathe, look at the sunset, drink coffee, not tea. Did you get that?
We're going to have a big coffee tea battle, aren't we?
Your wine. I could chillax with wine. You can sip wine. I do like tea. I should show you how much tea I have. We still need to get together and have a tea party. Yes. But Terry Ann and I sort of started hanging out, and then what happened? Pandemic.
Try to keep us apart. And so what do? We create a live. You know what we're talking about next week? Do you know that next week when we meet, it will be the day before Christmas Eve? It will be Christmas Eve the next time we get together. And on Christmas Eve, we are going to be talking about finding joy in the holidays. Especially this year. I've talked to so many people and there's just, it's Christmas. So what? The excitement's not there. So let's talk next week on Christmas Eve about finding joy in the holidays. That last week between Christmas and New Year's. What can we do to remind ourselves of that joy? Until next week, do you have any final words, Sherry?
No, go out and make it a great day and look at the sunrises and sunsets. Stop, breathe, and find ways to do some self-care this week.
Hey, on the comments throughout the week. What did you do for your self-care? And if you find a beautiful sunset, share the picture. We will see you next week. Thanks for joining.